This episode of Biters is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
Hey everybody, this is Dianne. Welcome to Biters.
This is Marnell, and this will probably be the shortest episode in Biters history.
Oh my god, because I'm so lame I didn't even look up the episode number for this.
We're season 4, episode 10.
Thank you. I was going to say it's episode 10, I'm pretty sure, which is Close Your Eyes.
Yep. But don't close them for too long. You'll miss the episode.
And she's talking about our episode, not the episode of Fear the Walking Dead.
I know. Too bad we actually didn't do a visual podcast because it would just be me dancing a little jig to fill some time.
In your Sarah Palin costume or not? Or should I even ask?
Oh, wrapped in an American flag.
Well,
yeah.
Before we get into Biters, I just have to say we're headed to Hawaii and it's about to get hit by a Category 4 hurricane. It was Category 5 yesterday and it's weakened a little bit.
I don't know. I think somebody upset Kilauea because, volcanoes.
Oh, you mean Pele?
Pele, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Because I just, poor Hawaii.
I'm beginning to think I just personally have this big, giant, dark cloud.
So what happens to an active volcano in high winds?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it actually sounds like the eruption has calmed down quite a bit.
Okay.
So I don't know that that's going to be as much a factor.
Well, there's been 69 earthquakes in the last 48 hours on the Ring of Fire, so something's a-brewing.
Great. Well, we'll let you know when we don't make it back from Hawaii.
Just sit right back and you hear it.
Phil needs to take on another podcast anyway. You and he can do Biters. It's all good.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Hawaii on the brain.
Yeah, I've got Oklahoma City on the brain.
Yeah, why Oklahoma City?
Oh, I'm taking a work trip next month to Oklahoma City for a week. Yeah.
Gosh, that sounds like fun. Not.
Well, I will be very, very close to the memorial, so I might take a little bit of a trip over there to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Morbid things. But then again, I do a podcast about zombies, so.
Oh, they're not so morbid.
Memorials or zombies?
Zombies.
Okay. So, I just wanted to give a shout out. Last episode, we gave a shout out to Thomas O'Mara, who got a retweet by Jenna Elfman.
And Michael Satrazimus.
Biter's own Kirk Manley also got a retweet.
Oh, from who?
From Jenna Elfman.
Right on, Jenna Elfman.
Jenna Elfman retweeted Kirk's art of her and Garrett Dillahunt. You are quite talented. Wowzers. See you in Orlando.
She really recognizes quality when she sees it.
And the pictures that she retweeted from Kirk's Twitter at BatmanKM are just amazing. If you are new to the podcast, Kirk Manley was one of the original hosts of Biters, and he and Jeff
Marsick
are amazingly talented. You should check them out on Twitter. You should check them out wherever you go for social media. their art and their comic books are just, they're awesome. So yeah, Kirk Manley also got a retweet by Jenna Elfman. Way to go, Jenna Elfman.
Now I'm going to totally have to follow Jenna Elfman on Twitter. I have not been following her on Twitter. I did, I believe, follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, I think I follow everyone on Twitter and Instagram, just because I don't really look at social media for, people have been really good about not doing spoilers, but I'm also not very active on social media, so I don't generally look on Sundays before I watch the shows. So
yeah, you got to stay off social media if you don't want to get spoiled.
But it's not even the actors that do it anymore. It's
right.
It's the fans.
Well, it's not just the fans. My gosh, I remember when Beth died. It was the network that spoiled it.
Yeah, I remember that, and I think that's probably why they don't do it anymore, is because they learned their lesson on that one. A whole lot of people unliked their pages. So
I haven't followed them again, and I will not.
So yeah, I just wanted to say, go check out Kirk Manley's art on Twitter, and yeah.
Well, shoot, I'm not seeing what Jenna retweeted.
It was way back ago. Let's see. August 7th.
Ah, okay, so I have to do some searching.
Yep.
All right, I can do that.
Okay. So, you didn't have any numbers this week, did ya?
Well, I have a couple of numbers, and I do have a rating. So my rating was 4.6 out of 5 dropped flashlights.
Oh, wow.
But I really want to know, if you drop a flashlight underwater, is it still going to work?
Depends on the flashlight.
I guess that's fair. Like, if it's a tactical light, it will probably work.
Yeah, I think they build them better than they used to.
Okay.
And with LED lights now, they're not so susceptible to the bulbs breaking, and yeah.
Okay, I'm willing to give it a break then. Because I thought, really?
It's a zombie apocalypse. I can explain away anything.
So did you have a rating? You said you didn't really have one, but I figured, that I wasted enough time that maybe you would find one.
I did have a rating. I couldn't come up with a what I rated it as, but I said 3.9 Lost Girls.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So what's funny is I didn't not like this episode, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. The episode's like 47-ish minutes long, and it was really hard to get into until like the last 10, 15 minutes. Right?
No, so I just loved it again, which is why I rated it so high. I mean, me rating a Fear the Walking Dead episode higher than a 4?
Don't get me wrong, like, it almost made me had a feeling, so, that really brought the rating right up there at the end.
I'm glad you almost had a feeling, because I had feelings.
More than one.
More than one.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Every now and then it does happen.
So I feel like there's a rattle in my mic, so I'm sorry if the sound is off on this episode.
No, I think your sound is fine. You might have heard me brush up against the pop filter on mine, and I apologize for that.
Okay. So you said you had a couple of numbers. Did you have any numbers for the last episode?
Well, so the way that they had it on TV by the numbers was really weird. They said the article said the week of August the 6th, which would have technically put us through to the 12th, which was the episode prior to this one. Mm-hmm. But then they said August 6th through the 10th. So it was just really weird, which would not have encompassed the episode from the 5th or the episode from the 12th. So I chose to believe that they actually meant the week of the 6th ending on the 12th. That's what I chose to believe.
Sure.
And although Fear the Walking Dead did not make the top 25 in the overall ratings, it did make the top 25 in the 18 to 49 group, and it ranked 8th with 870,000 viewers.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not as great as I thought it would be. And, once again, when you look at the overall cable, not the 18 to 49, but just everyone, news shows and like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta were the things that ranked in the top 25.
So we beat Dr. Pimple Popper?
We didn't.
Oh, no!
No, we did not. Which I have no respect for people who are putting Dr. Pimple Popper in the top 25.
Oh, my
None.
goodness.
0.
Oh, that is not something you watch on a large screen. That is something you watch, like, as you're falling asleep on your phone screen.
No.
Ugh.
Neither one.
Did we beat Kardashians? Are they even like on like sometime?
I didn't specifically see them in the listings, but I wasn't specifically looking for them either.
Okay, the only reason why I ask is I saw an interesting article about watching the Kardashians.
We saw the same article that said it basically makes you a more horrible person.
Yes, it makes you meaner.
Yes, because of like all of the emphasis on wealth and glamour,
materialism,
and being better than.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my goodness, that I can totally see that, but that's so funny they study that. I wonder what it means. Like, does it make you a better person to watch Fear the Walking Dead?
I was just gonna say that it totally does. Hence the reason people should all be watching this show.
Yeah, I mean, at the very, very least, it makes you a more resourceful person.
And it makes you almost have feelings.
Almost.
Or maybe have more than one feeling, depending on who you are.
And maybe if you listen to Biters too, it makes you more snarky and quick-witted.
If you're the younger sister.
Oh, I would not want to be the Charlie, though. I don't want to be that younger sister.
I don't know. I related to Charlie quite a bit.
Did you?
I really did.
I really related to Alicia this episode because I don't like kids.
We have it backwards. I related to Charlie because, Alicia kept saying, you're garbage, you're never going to be anything worthwhile, you're never going to be anything good. And I've just had such a rotten 3 years that I totally, that look on Charlie's face as she was leaning up against the door, hearing all of that.
Yeah.
I was like, right there.
Yep.
Right there with her.
Yep. That was very, very tough.
Yeah. That was really hard to watch and hard to see.
Yeah.
And I hope that Alicia came away from this experience a better person.
I think they both did.
I think they both did too. I mean, I think that there was definitely some bright moments in the episode.
Yeah.
But we're way ahead of ourselves.
I was just thinking that. I was like, maybe we're not even going to do the regular episode. We're just going to talk about the entire episode.
Well, we'll do the writer and director really quickly. So the writer we've seen once before, Shintaro Shimosawa. I really hope I'm saying that right. And this is the second episode that he's written of Fear the Walking Dead. The first one was Good Out Here, which was in this season. It was in the first half of this season.
So he also produces the episodes he writes for. Did you notice that?
Oh, no, I didn't, but that's really cool.
Yeah, he's co-executive producer on 13 episodes, and he's writer on 13 episodes. So
no, not writer on 13 episodes, only writer on 2. Oh, I'm totally going. I'm going there, man.
I'm there.
I'm going there.
I'm sorry. He's got writing credits on 13 shows.
Aha!
You are correct. 2 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. But he is co-executive producer on 8 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay, I'll buy that. I don't have to go there. I'll buy that.
So I think that's why we're seeing a lot more of him as writer. He's been producer for a lot of the episodes.
Well, and people do seem to kind of move up and down the scale in terms of what they do on productions for both Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead.
Right. And I think it's got to be one of those things where it's kind of like us, where we have ideas about the show direction or about something that maybe should happen in the show or something the characters should confront or how things should work, that I think it's kind of hard to maybe work on the set and not, sort of get into other areas and other interests about the show. So,
which, by the way, I did enjoy Andrew Chambliss very much on Talking Dead, although he looked like he was wearing capris. Which was an interesting fashion choice. I'm not saying it was a terrible fashion choice, but I am saying it was an interesting fashion choice.
I did not notice.
I did.
That's funny.
I may not be the quicker-witted sister, but I definitely noticed the interesting fashion choice.
That's funny.
In part because I have a pair of capris that are very similar. Oh. All right. Our director was Michael Satrazemis, who is Thomas O'Mara's favorite director after being retweeted by him. Just kidding, Thomas. I don't really know that. You may have a different favorite director. But the thing that I noticed was, wow, this episode really feels like The Grove. That the house that they were in really felt like the house in The Grove. And of course, who directed The Grove but Michael Satrazemis. So I thought that was really cool that there was another episode that we watched a while ago that Michael Satrazemis had directed, and it really felt Grove-like as well. So I really like
that.
I like that he brings that sensibility back to the different shows. Because The Grove is still in my top 5.
Remind me what the Grove one is again.
The Grove is the one where Carol puts Lizzie out of her misery.
Oh, yeah. Very bratty kid-centric shows.
Yeah, there you go. I guess if you think about it that way, yeah, given Charlie's role in this episode, sure.
There is a reason why I am the baby. I could not, I murdered all of my younger siblings. I could not imagine having a younger sibling. No thanks. Kids are awful.
They're not my favorite things in the world. I will definitely tell you that.
Mine have 4 legs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I'm getting to the point where they have to have hooves as well. So I'm kind of like, okay, a few paws are fine, but I need some hooves.
Aww.
So we don't have a featured cast member really because there were only 2 cast members in this whole episode.
Yeah, and we've talked about them.
And we have, but we haven't talked about Alicia Debnam Carey in a while. So I just thought I would take a page from your book during our last Preacher podcast and look and see what she's got in post-production. And she's got 2 things in post right now. She's got a movie called A Violent Separation.
So, and I actually did this on our last podcast.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, because
I thought you did it on our Preacher podcast. See how lame I am?
No.
I remember you mentioning Orphan Horse that Alexa Neeson was in.
Well, and Coleman Domingo's coming up in some amazing
Okay,
things.
now I totally remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah,
But
wah.
no,
I'm lame. What can I say?
Alicia Debnam Carey is coming up in some really cool stuff.
The other thing that I will say, which I didn't realize, I've always kind of joked that she's another Brit. She was actually born in Sydney, Australia.
Oh.
So
yeah.
I totally thought she was a Brit. She is not. She's an Aussie.
So strange to hear them talk on interviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good, Bad, and Ugly. This is going to be the quickest episode in the history of Biters.
It is. So my good is eventually the girls coming together, like working it out, and then just sort of like, who else do you have? I mean, yeah, she actually killed your brother, and she was the cause of death of your father, but to find out, I'm sorry, mother, to find out that she watched her own mother and father turn, and she's been so traumatized and she's so young that it finally clicked in Alicia that, you know, maybe other people have their own crap going on too, and it's not all about you. So I just, you know, and then Alicia having a hard time actually killing her when she was begging to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I really felt for these two. Like I said, by the end of the last 10, 15 minutes of the episode, they're a pair you can root for, you know? So,
don't you really feel like Alicia's turning point was when she said, "Close your eyes, I'll take you to the beach"?
I think it was when she was burying the family, and Charlie was like,
"Did you do that for me?"
Well, even though you think you can't see her in you, I can see her in you.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm good at finding lost things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really liked how this how this turned out, and I really hope that Lucy and Strand and everyone can sort of be like, oh, okay, if Alicia can forgive her, then we're cool. But I have a feeling we're not going to see a lot of the group together for a while.
I was going to say, now we have to find them again. And it looks like Morgan is Splitsville. Like, he is not part of this group anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, not sure, but that's sure the way the previews looked.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be by choice, and who knows if he's going to try and get back to his group or find everyone or what his plan will be, but we'll be...
Well, where did he say he is now? Missouri?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It was just a truck stop.
Yeah, no, he said something like, I'm in a truck stop, like, in Missouri?
Oh, that's right. And she's like, wow, you're a little further than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll have a few new characters to profile next episode.
Maybe, if we like any of them.
So what was your good?
Well, my good was related, but it was really Alexa Nisenson, or Nisenson. I'm not sure how you say it.
I think it's Nisenson.
I just thought she was amazing. For such a youngster, she did such a great job carrying her role in this episode. And like I said just a few minutes ago, one of the scenes that really got me the most was when she was hearing all of the bitter things that Alicia was spewing at her, and she was just leaning up against the door, hearing it slowly just breaking into pieces.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, for such a young kid to pull together a performance of that depth,
yeah,
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
So she was definitely my good.
Well, you know, we've profiled her on the show before, and that she's been in a couple of things where it's just like, I can't believe somebody that young is so articulate and so poised and camera ready and just hits her mark. And she's got a bright future ahead of her if she remains in acting. So, yeah.
So your bad, what would you say your bad was?
My bad is kind of, at this point, I want to call it a technical bad. We complain about it a lot on the show. Whenever walkers build up on a fence, or they allow them to build up on a window, or something like that, just even if you shut the blinds, you're not going to have them seeing you active in the house and continue to claw at the windows and everything. And I'm just like, every time I'm like, that's a recipe for disaster.
I thought they were pretty calm about the sheer number of walkers built up on the windows.
Were they just hoping that the storm was just going to blow them away? I mean, because for the most part it did, but I would not be relying upon that, because those were not sturdy windows. I mean, that's, letting them build up on a flimsy chain link fence. It's just, you're asking for trouble at that point. I mean, even if we're always griping at the young woman in the horror movie running upstairs instead of out the front door. Well, at this point, like, go upstairs. They can't see you. There's one point of entry. I guess maybe, I don't know how to survive a hurricane, because maybe that's not the best idea either. But I'm just like, there has to be a better way. Like, find a bureau and shove up against those windows or something. It drives me nuts when this far into the apocalypse and you're still letting zombies build up on windows and fences. Mm-hmm. So that was my bad.
No, I agree. That was not my bad, but I definitely agree that it bothered me.
Yeah.
So my bad was actually watching Alicia revert a little bit at the end of the episode, where she looked at Charlie and was basically like, nothing is going to get better. Nothing gets better in this world.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed, because she had reached this place of, I don't want to say lightness, because that sounds kind of airy-fairy, but hope. She had just reached, hope. She had just reached this better place where you thought maybe she and Charlie could move forward together. And then for her to turn around and say that, it was just such a downer.
Yeah, she's far too easily defeated. I mean, I know you just, every time you're down, you get kicked, but maybe she was just trying to get Charlie to be like, okay, that's done. Let's move on and make our own way. But I don't know. At first, when I was watching the scenes of them going through and not finding everybody, I was like, well, I wouldn't think that anyone was dead until I saw bodies. But of course, it's a hurricane, so the bodies could have totally blown away.
Right.
So, I don't know what I would think. I mean, you have to wonder what Madison did when everyone got spread out and she went and found him. I mean, where do you start? Where do you start looking? I guess just drive around?
We never really got that story, and I don't think we ever will.
Right. Maybe we'll get this story, you know. I guess just drive around to any place that's left standing.
I think that's going to be the remainder of this season, is kind of how they put the band back together.
Right. Right. And we're all in pairs except for Morgan.
Right. And we'll see whether or not Morgan reunites with this group or whether or not he goes back to Alexandria. I mean, everything that I have heard just kind of in the rumor mill is that he's going to end up back on the main show. We talked about that a little bit last week.
Right. I mean, that's always been sort of the plan, but, you know, Oh
my God, and Whisperer's Corner, now that they're losing Maggie, too,
they
need Morgan back.
Exactly. But, you know, we've gone through some wonky time jump thingies, so I don't know what that does.
Well, it sounds like the main series is going to go through a time jump as well.
Right, but I mean, at least the last time during the time jump, they gave me the eggplant that I could do the math and mileage, and, you know, I could figure out how long Morgan had been walking and how much time had passed, but I got no eggplant time measurement in this.
Well, you haven't gotten the other part of the equation yet. We've got to wait for the Prime series to come back on, and then you can calculate it for us.
Then I can solve for X.
Right.
Or
exactly. Or eggplant, as it were.
So.
Well, did you have an ugly, and was it a good ugly or a bad ugly?
Mine was a bad ugly.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's a bad. Like,
how did you rate this again? What were you rating for this again?
I just, you know, upon the second watch, it really bugged me that it bugged Alicia so much about the family photos and everything, to the point that she not only took them down, but she put them outside.
It bugged her because it reminded her of her family that she lost.
I know, but like, take them down, turn them around, something, but like, just to throw them outside, that's wholly disrespectful. I couldn't imagine being that upset about losing my own family that I sort of desecrate somebody else's. You know, it upset me how much not how much she was upset, just how disrespectful that was.
Well, people do weird things when they grieve.
They do. And, you know, she was very upset that Charlie covered the bodies. Like, that pushed her over the line. And I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, maybe people do crazy stuff in grief, but
they do. People do totally bizarre things, and you cannot predict how someone's going to grieve.
Yeah. It just, Alicia's my girl, and I don't like to see her suffer like that. So you'd think for a show that was like 50% Alicia, I would have rated it much higher.
It really was 50% Alicia.
It was. So what was your ugly?
Well, my ugly was a good ugly, and it kind of goes back to your good, which is that I really liked the way that the two of them came together. And ultimately, even with Alicia kind of going back to a little bit of her darker self, I really felt like this was a very healing episode.
Yeah.
I just really liked the way that they came together. I thought the moment in the car where she described the beach to Charlie was really beautiful.
And then Charlie could see her parents.
Right.
It almost made me have an emotion.
I gotta tell you, I had more emotion when Charlie was grieving and getting ready to shoot herself, but yeah. I guess that just tells you a little bit about me.
Yeah, my other emotional spot was when Charlie was wanting Alicia to shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this episode had a couple of those scenes.
But I definitely thought that there were some nice healing moments in this. And I actually, like, that was a healing moment. Both of them realizing that, You know,
I
she
don't
didn't want to
wanna die.
die, and she didn't want
And-
to kill her.
Yep. Almost our other show, almost a revelation.
Right.
Oh, I know. I think like for some, like when they were in the car, there's a song by an artist called Kim Ritchie, and the song is "A Place Called Home." And like I could just hear that song in my head, and it's such a bittersweet song, but it's kind of uplifting, and yeah. There should have been a nice like girl-centric guitar song playing in the background.
Something by Ani DeFranco. Now I'm really dating myself.
Well, for
both of those actresses would look at me and go, "Who is Ani DeFranco?"
Yeah, well, Kim Ritchie. I got into Kim Ritchie, and Phil and Lilith will appreciate this. It is, I think, the very last episode of the show Angel, which they run a podcast about. When Winifred is, when we're seeing the last bits of her character, they play that Kim Ritchie song, "A Place Called Home." And so that's what got me into Kim Ritchie, and I love all of her albums. So.
Well, there you go. And see, I would look at you and go, "Who is Kim Ritchie?"
It's good.
Okay, I have a moment to share that has nothing to do with biters and nothing to do with Fear the Walking Dead, and probably like 5 people in the audience who listen to this, who are still listening, might actually know who this band is, but I bought Nick 3 Dog Night tickets for his birthday.
Oh, yeah, I know who 3 Dog Night is.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Bullfrog, yes.
So seriously, my medical assistant, who's about 5, looked at me and said, "Who's that?" And I thought, oh, I feel so old.
Wow. That's like golden oldies AM radio.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
But it was funny this week. The number 1 selling album all time ever in history.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Was the Eagles'
greatest hits.
Yeah. Like 71 through 75, I think they said.
Yeah, it surpassed Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's old is new again.
There you go. So we are totally hip. We're going to go see 3 Dog Night next Sunday.
Oh, man,
this coming Sunday.
If you lived through the 70s or the 90s, dust off those bell bottoms. They will come back. Trust me. Skinny jeans be damned.
Even if Cassidy wears them. Wrong podcast. I know.
Well, do you see what Alicia wears? Those are basically leggings.
All of the women of The Walking Dead wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, no.
It's because they all are stick figures.
Yeah, well, I mean, food is hard to come by.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they all look like those jeans fit them before the apocalypse.
Right? That's funny.
So, rotting potpourri.
There's really not that much.
Well, so the opening
Oh, okay.
show the letters blowing across the screen.
I do have to say, I think this was my very favorite opening credit scene.
Yeah, really? Because of the letters blowing across the screen, or because...
Yeah, because it was so animated. Like the camera kind of shook, and there was water on it, and the letters started to blow away. It was very animated. It was really cool.
And I hate to say it, but it didn't take a lot of guessing. Let's be honest. It didn't take a lot of brain power to see what it meant.
No. Nope. I will be curious to see what the next one looks like. Better weather, at least.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be about truck stops, right?
Yeah, I would think.
We'll find out.
So, just a weird random funniness in this episode when Alicia was describing two random funny moments. When Alicia was describing the ocean and everything, and she's like, you smell salt. And I was like, not in Alaska. You smell like decaying things.
Like kelp.
Yeah, you smell it's
You smell rotting kelp.
And salmon and mussels. It's decaying matter.
Yeah.
You know, like our oceans. Our oceans here are alive. There's things living and dying in them all the time. So, you know, for us, that's what the ocean smells like. You know, I just was like, our ocean doesn't smell like salt. It smells like fish.
She had to describe a universal experience.
Yeah, I know. I've been to the ocean elsewhere, like in Florida and Oregon and things like that. And yes, I do get it. It smells salty, but not here. Not in Alaska.
I'll have to pay attention. I'll report back in a couple of weeks what the ocean in Hawaii smells like, because it's been a couple of years, so I need to refresh my memory.
That's true. And maybe I'm just biased right now because the salmon are running, the salmon are spawning, so
everything smells like dying salmon.
Yeah, everything smells like dying salmon.
Yeah.
And bear poop.
Yep. Your dogs, if you're unfortunate, smell like dying salmon because they've gone and rolled in it.
Oh, God. That was the worst trip home. You, like, windows down, and if the car got under 35 miles an hour, you just gagged. Because your husky rolled in salmony bear poop.
Ew.
Yeah. Luckily, he did not disturb the bear that was fishing just about 10 feet away from him.
How long ago was this?
Oh, when we first got him.
When he was still young, spry, and impulsive.
Oh, yeah. When he had no idea what a bear was. Yeah.
Well, so at first I thought the impaled zombie was a bit much. But then when they had the whole scene where Charlie was going to go and feed herself to the impaled zombie, I totally got it.
What a way to go.
Yeah, that would have been a really awful way to die.
Yeah, I think I probably just would have walked out into the storm.
Yeah, it would not have been fast.
No. Ooh, gruesome.
Oh, the dogs are singing again.
The other thing is when Alicia was describing the ocean and she's like, and you float. All I could think was Pennywise, because when they were back down in the basement, if you've seen the updated It
Which I have
movie,
to confess, I've never seen either one.
There's a scene with like the flooded basement in the updated one. And so when she's like, and you'll float, I'm thinking, we'll all float down here.
I take it there's death in the flooded basement.
Yeah. Georgie and Pennywise. Yep. So yeah, it was just such a funny, like, I'm sure they couldn't have meant it that way, but like, who among us does not think when somebody says you'll float, who among us doesn't see the red balloon and the clown in the sewer?
Well, I don't.
Well, that's because I'm morbid then.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
It's better than me being behind the times.
Not really. The times aren't great. The times aren't great.
I think one of the other things that I had in Rotting Potpourri, and we talked about this a little bit, but it just was really profound to me how much Alicia was magnifying Charlie's suffering. I mean, we've really seen over the last couple of episodes that Charlie is suffering over the choices that she made and the actions that she took.
Yeah.
And Alicia just, like, ground it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I think that we all forget living in this apocalypse where everything is so crappy all of the time. You know, we're foraging for food and people are trying to kill us and zombies are trying to eat us. We forget that she's like 11.
Right.
Like, imagine how you processed things or how you dealt with stuff and how cushy your life was by comparison. And, you know, she's 11.
Well, and what we understand about neurobiology right now is that people's brains aren't fully mature until they're 25. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what kind of trauma you live through, you're still living in that immature brain.
Yep.
So Charlie's not processing things like an adult.
I kind of thought that it would be cool, because we've killed Carl, if Charlie crossed over and was the new Carl.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Because the whole growing up in the zombie apocalypse never really, I mean, your memories fade. I mean, she'll remember a time before, but not much of it. Not like the rest of us, who remember Must See TV and Three Dog Night and things like that. She will pretty much only have known fighting for your survival, and so she will be better equipped for it. Although she will be crazy and morbid, probably.
Although I think that Enid could potentially be the new Carl. Potentially.
If she quits shooting people.
Especially with Maggie now leaving the show, because she's kind of a little Maggie.
Oh, that's very true.
So, yeah, spoiler alert for anybody who's not up on the news.
Yeah, Cohen Watch 2020 is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're losing Maggie. Don't know how.
I'm not sure where they're going to go. I think that this is a sign that they have to wrap it up.
Oh yeah, we've talked, and I was surprised that it made it to season 8. I forget, you and Phil or you and Thomas or somebody were like, "Oh no, it'll go, season 10," and I'm like,
I was even thinking like 12.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I just don't think you can keep it up and keep it fresh. I mean, literally and figuratively.
It just hurts my heart to have too many of the originals gone.
Yeah.
And I don't see where it's going. And maybe that's okay. Maybe they'll reinvent it and maybe they'll surprise us all. But
hey, they did it with Fear the Walking Dead. Who would have thought that, we would enjoy the show so much?
4.6 out of 5.
Speaking of what's old is new again, Robert Kirkman is he's going to produce a new movie.
Oh, really? What's he going to do?
What's old is new again, An American Werewolf in London.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that because, of course, I like Robert Kirkman, but I also don't like them taking a classic and rebooting it when it was a perfectly good movie to begin with.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So do a good job, Robert Kirkman.
Right. Don't mess things up like you did the zombies.
Oh. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this episode. Like I said.
Yeah, I don't think I've got a lot to say either beyond that. I think we now it's a matter of, like I said, getting the band back together. So we'll have to watch and see how things evolve from here.
Yeah. Yep. Well, how many episodes do we have left this season?
So this was 10. We should have 6 episodes left.
Okay. I don't think that's enough time to get the band back together. I mean,
It might be.
Not the whole band.
I don't know that it's time enough to get Morgan back to Alexandria, although he left Alexandria pretty quickly, so...
That's very true. Yeah, so the next episode is called The Code.
And it looks like it's Morgan-centric, although we don't know that for sure.
But we're going to see some new people.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Well, until next week, just remember...
Take it.
One
dead day
at a time.
That was pretty good.
Okay, if you say so. All right, everybody, have a good week.
See you next week.